Hello YouTube, David here. Tonight we're going to be talking about a dream that I had. I'm going to say somewhere about this time right here, May 5th. I'm going to give or take a few days. I'm going to say probably give a few days. I'm thinking it was more, I don't know. It was right around this time. I don't log or journal my dreams because I have so many of them and whatnot. We're going to be talking about how God gives us our instructions in a dream while we sleep and whatnot. But anyway, this dream, I sat up and just as I was waking up and words come out of my mouth, let's go see this fatal crash. I remember myself in the dream being elevated up, and as I being elevated up, I don't know if I was waking. I must have been waking up because supposedly that's the only time you remember your dreams, when you wake up. But I remember in the dream I was being elevated up something, and it was I heard the words, "Let's go see this fatal crash," and I said those words out loud too when I woke up. And it's like, so I kind of thought, my first assumption is because I'm a truck driver, I'm thinking, okay, maybe that means I'm getting ready to see a major crash out here on the road with a lot of fatalities, but I'm not even seeing so much as like maybe a couple fender benders here and there, nothing major. And it's been close to a month now. Well, and then this is where I want to talk about this. Now, the World Health Organization, right on May 5th, is when they made a declaration that the COVID-19 was no longer a global emergency, global health emergency. Now, something the Father had me show in the fourth book, okay, and this is where I'm going to talk without showing the scriptures. If you want to learn more about this, read the fourth book. We'll be talking about how you can read the fourth book for free. Anyway, a little bit. But in the fourth book, the Father had me show, when he sent me to Hawaii, I seen the flood right before the COVID-19 broke out. When I got back, I was writing the fourth book and so forth. I seen the flood that covers the earth, Jeremiah 46:8. And his name's Egypt, and how Egypt covers this earth. Well, I seen this flood with my own two eyes from 32,000 feet out my airplane window. This is all explained in the fourth book. And actually, it's explained in a couple of the videos on here. I talk about it. And so anyway, but he had me show that the COVID-19 was the first contraction brought on by our Father. Yes, it was announced that man was fighting an invisible enemy. Colossians 1. Jesus is in the image of the invisible God. Okay? Man is fighting God. That was the first contraction. Then the economic turmoil went through the world. Then the racial tensions with the killing in Minnesota. That was the third contraction. The mass shootings that's been going on here lately, those are more of the labor pains. We are all feeling these labor pains. And so forth. Well, when they announced this on May 5th, that actually I thought it was a week before that on my Facebook page, you can actually, Jesus is Here page, you can I actually thought it was going to be sooner. They come out, I thought they announced it, I think it was the end of April, but then it was, I think they announced that they were going to announce it. I guess I misunderstood. And then it was May 5th when they actually announced that it was no longer a global emergency. But his Father had me put in the fourth book, maybe in the fifth book also, he had me show in the fourth book that when they say peace and safety, because it was announced that we were fighting a war against an invisible enemy. When they said that, I knew that, and yes, it's in the fourth book, maybe in the fifth book. Like, I don't know if I got, I've written so many books now, and I'm working on the sixth book. I get tangled between what I put in each book. or if I repeated it from the 4th to the 5th, I'm not sure. I know for a fact it's in the 4th book. But the Father had me say, when they say peace and safety from this, then comes sudden destruction. This is what 1 Thessalonians 5 it talks about. We're going to be talking about that here in a little bit. Okay? But, I'll be showing this in the scriptures. So when they announced this, I knew that meant sudden destruction is supposed to be coming. And I don't remember what it was before they started talking about the raising the debt ceiling, but there was something I was thinking that it was going to be, but it wasn't that major, and obviously it passed. And, then they started talking about this debt ceiling, and I really started thinking, okay, this is going to be it, because when you listen to the news, they're saying, okay, well, if they don't raise the debt ceiling, it's going to be a global catastrophe. Because I know the next contraction, okay, the COVID-19 was the first contraction, the economic turmoil was the second contraction, the racial tensions that started up in Minnesota, that was the third contraction. The gun shootings and mass shootings and whatnot, those are labor pains, but I know there's another contraction coming. So when they said this, I'm thinking, okay, there's got to be, here comes that other contraction. And this next contraction is going to be immense. It's going to make all the other stuff look like baby steps. And we got some really, really hard times coming, and then I started thinking about this, they started talking about this debt ceiling, and I'm thinking, okay, this debt ceiling, maybe that's what this contraction be. That's not it. They're not going to get it raised. Well, then they started talking like they're going to get this all approved and whatnot. They're going to get through it. This is where I started throwing a temper tantrum. I started throwing a fit. Unless you humble yourselves and become as a little child, no wise will you enter the kingdom of God. Okay, yeah, well, I explain this in the books too. I throw the fits, I throw the temper tantrums just like a little child. We're all just not but little children to the Father. But we got to humble ourselves and let Him teach us. We got to allow Him to teach us. So anyway, ranting and raving about stuff that don't really concern this lesson tonight. But tonight, the last couple days, when they started making the deals on this raising the debt ceiling, because I really started to think that was what it was going to be, and when they started making these deals, I really started losing it, and I was just like, how much longer? It's just, when's this contraction going to happen? Because I know what the next contraction is. Okay, now I talked about this flood that covers the earth. That's also the same flood that is in the same, this what, in the 4th book, there's a chapter called Let Us Make Man in Our Own Image. Okay, just like the water that surrounds a baby while it's in its mother's womb, this flood serves the same purpose. Okay, and in the 4th book, I misstated it wrong. There's a video on here, The Birth of Jesus, and I actually talk about it incorrectly. But I talk about how we'll be gathered as one born into another world. I misunderstood it, but I had the right concept into what was happening. But in John 16, it talks about the labor pains, and then come joy when a man is born into the world. Well, that man being born into the world is when the Father reveals me. That's what's coming in the next contraction. And that's why this next contraction is going to make all the other contractions prior to this, the one coming up, look like baby steps, feel like baby steps. Or you would much rather have those contractions back. Just like when a woman gives birth, the last couple pushes are the hardest and they hurt the most. That's what's getting ready to happen here. And that's what this dream was about. Now, with me throwing my fit, including earlier tonight, I'm sitting there throwing my temper tantrum, and I'm like, I'm getting so fed up with waiting. And I'm just agonizing with myself. It's just like, Father, your timelines are past, the 6 years or 7 years, and, so forth, 12 years, I'm supposed to be teaching when I'm 12, and it's just, I know so much about the Bible, and I've had people talking to me about the Bible. Well, everything's on God's timeline. You know what? I know the Bible like the back of my hand. I am the walking Word of God. Okay? Whether you like that or not, He's told me that, and I'm explaining how that works in this next book. I am the walking Word of God. John 1. All right? Well, you know, and I'm matching up these timelines, and nothing's not, you know, it's beyond that. And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm, you know, and it's just, I've got all this knowledge that I want to share. I want to teach. No, not everybody's going to raise, okay? I know the dead in Christ that got to raise. This is explained in the 5th book, in the chapter called The Walking Dead. But I'm ready to start. Yeah, I'm just ready. Well, then about 10 o'clock tonight, Mountain Standard Time, and I'm sitting here driving along, and something happened, and it was just like, oh, that's what you mean. It's not about the debt ceiling. Yeah, the debt ceiling would be minor compared to what's getting ready to happen if they couldn't raise the debt ceiling. What's getting ready to happen is a lot worse. I gotta pause this. I gotta get my coffee. Excuse me. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so I thought it was going to be the debt ceiling, and when they come up with their second or third section of whatever passing, and I started losing it. And then about 10 o'clock tonight or something, Mountain Time, he kind of put it through my head, and he's like, David, all right. Now I'm kind of like, oh. And I'm going to go as far as to say he confirmed it. What's getting ready to happen, and because now he didn't, I don't have a date, and I'm not even going to try to venture into setting a date. I'm not doing all of that, but I know what's coming, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pleasant. Now that I've kind of ranted and raved here a little bit about some stuff that I'm not showing scriptures for, I think I pretty well kind of covered why I've been doing this. And by the way, this is take 2. I did do one of these the other day. It was like a 22-minute video. It was up on my channel for like 3 hours. And I pulled it down and I pulled it down. It was just like, no. And this is just when they even started talking. And it was about, I thought it was going to be the debt ceiling. That was going to be the contraction. And then they started talking like, oh, they'll probably pass it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not making a video saying that if that's not what it's going to be. And that's why I'm making this video now, is because I'm almost positive he said this is what's going to happen. And like I said, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to make, this world would much rather have them not raise the debt ceiling. Okay? So now, let's go ahead and get this started, and we're going to kind of jump all over a few places right now. Okay, we're going to John 6, verse 27. Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for the meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you, for him hath God the Father sealed. Now, first thing I want to show you, here we go. This is a picture of me. No, I'm not your pretty boy that you want to see. Whatever. I'm just a normal, average, ordinary man. Okay? You want me to be smiling at you? Too bad. I'm here suffering. I'm learning obedience through the things I suffer. Don't ask me to be happy. Don't ask me to, come at you with all smiles, and don't ask me to tell you something that's going to tickle your ears, that you can think you can continue to do things differently than what the Father said, and you're going to reap all the glories of His perfection at the end, because you're not. I'm not here no, I'm not wiping anybody's butt, and I'm not holding your hand. I don't know why I got on that little rant. Anyway, no. I know why, because this is a picture that's in the 4th book, and I think in the 4th book it's in black and white, if I remember correctly. Let me look real quick. Yeah, because they don't do color. They don't put it in color. So anyway, this one's actually in color. But this is the seal that's on my head, right here. See that cross? Right there. I did not put that there. That showed up in the latter part of 2014. I was with my wife at my mom's house when my mom was alive as my mom, not as my granddaughter that she is now. Okay? But we're sitting there playing cards, and Pam looked at me and said, "Do you know you got a cross on your head?" I was like, "No, I don't." She goes, "Yes, you do." "No, I don't." She goes, "Yes, you do." And I'm like, all right, I'll go look. And sure enough, I go into the restroom and I look, and yeah, there it's there. And I'm like, what the heck? I explained this. I can't remember if it's in, I think I explained it in the 4th book. I know when this happened. And I'll let that go on, let you read the book if you want to know that, because you can get the books for free. We'll be talking about that here in just a second. All right? Okay, but this is the seal. The meat that I give you is knowledge, is understanding of the Father. Okay? That's what meat is. We'll be talking about that here in just a few minutes too. Okay? But this is the seal. See it right there? There's a cross. Right there. In the center of my forehead. I see it all the time. And it's so simple to see on this picture. Yeah, in the 4th book, it's in black and white. But I've had so many people, "Oh, you're ugly. Oh, you come across the wrong way." Oh, well, you know what? I'm not here to make you happy. I'm not here to tickle your hormones, if that's what you want to call it. I'm not here to be with anyone. I'm married to God, the Father. So I don't sit here and want to look pretty for you, because I'm not. I'm suffering. And I'm not going to suffer with a smile on my face. That's the way it works. Anyway, that's my seal. He put it on me. God the Father is the one that sealed me. Okay, now we're going to Job 33. Now, I told you all this was a dream that I had. And in this dream, the words come out, "Let's go see this fatal crash." Job 33, verse 14 through 21. "For God speaketh once, yet twice, yet man perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed. Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man." Remember, God hates pride. Sorry for the interjection. "He keepeth back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhorreth bread, and his soul dainty meat. His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out." Now you see that there in verse 20? God gives you your instructions. Every human on this planet, he gives you your instructions while you sleep. Okay? I think that's part of the reason he designed us, that we need sleep. And I talk about that in the other books, that we need our sleep, we need our nourishment, and all this, But I think that's part of the reason why he designed us to sleep, so that he can give us our instructions every day. This goes on every day for every person on the planet. It's no different for me than it is for you. There's no different from you, from your neighbor, or them over in China, Russia, or any other place. There's no difference. He gives everybody their instructions while they sleep. He's the one that says, "Hey, While you're sleeping, he says, I want you to go into work today. I want you to do this. Because you know what? Well, I don't care what job you have, whatever it may be, you're helping millions, if not billions of people out. This is explained explicitly. It started talking about it in the second book, in a chapter called The Son of God. In the fifth book, the chapter called Reigning with Christ. Yes, we're reigning with Christ right now. And everything you do is, like when you go to work, I don't care what it is, you could be helping out, and I explain this in the books, you could be helping out millions, if not billions of people. I don't care what job you got. Somewhere down the line, and whatever you do today might not help anybody out today, but 6 months down the road, there's a very good chance it'll help them out. It'll help them out then. And see, that's how our Father looks at us. Remember, this is all spiritual. I think that's what we're getting ready to show now. But anyway, in a dream, see, in this dream, it said, let's go see this fatal crash. Might be talking about me being shown all things to come. Nope. We're going to talk about John 4, verses 23 and 24. And I don't have this organized very well. Like I said, this is take 2 of this video, and the one I had up, and I added a couple things to it today, so I don't remember exactly everything that I had on it yesterday, and I'm kind of doing a lot of talking in between the Bible verses, and I refuse to show everything explicitly as it is, because like I did, I've already been talking about what I showed in the 4th book, and I'm sorry, but it's going to have to get to the point that you're all going to have to read the books, okay, if you're wanting to understand this, because I can't explain it. You know, you're getting my rant and raving, you're getting discouraged and whatnot while you're listening to me, and I don't blame you, but at the same time, you don't have any of my mockery in the books, okay? So, anyway, John 4, verses 23 and 24. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Okay, everything about the Bible is spiritual. Just like this flood that covers this earth. It's a spiritual flood. Okay? It's not a physical flood. God said he'll never destroy the earth with water again. But we don't listen to everything. Man doesn't listen to everything that he says. When you get to Jeremiah, he tells you Egypt rises up like a flood and he said he'll cover the earth. Everybody's in Egypt. Everybody's in Egypt. Everybody's in this flood. You have to let Moses lead you out of Egypt. That's the chapter I'm working on right now in the 6th book. So anyway, now, verse 24, God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And I haven't showed this next verse, what I'm getting ready to show, in a long time, but I just like, you know what, I'm going to throw it on here tonight. Psalm 119. Wow. I had this yesterday, but this is take 2. Psalm 119, verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is thy truth. The truth. There's so many people that think if you're going to be honest, it'll set you free. No, it won't. Go to the Bible. Find out that there was a spirit of lying that came out from God. Truth is the law. The law of Moses, the Old Testament. That's what will set you free. All right, what we got next? Okay, this is where I show you that, before I jump onto that, I want to, this seal I talked about back here, labor not for the meat that perisheth, but labor for the meat that which the Son of Man shall give unto you. Okay? Let's go to that. We're not even going to show this tonight, but here you go. What I mean, we're not going to show this. Now the whole world can see me coming in the clouds. Right here. all the books that I've written, and this 6th book, when I'm done with it, it'll be on this website just as well. Now I want to go down here. You see this download manuscript? Download manuscript. This is on all the books, and it will be on the 6th book at the same time. They're free. You can download the manuscript for free. Yes, you can buy the books through Barnes & Noble and Amazon and the publishers. Okay, but at the same time, you don't have to. Nobody should feel obligated to pay if they can't afford it, to learn of the Father. And if you don't want to pay for it, you don't have to. All you have to do is download it, read it, pay for it. I can't help you with your internet. That's something that you got to have on your own. Go to the library. You can do the same thing at the library. I don't know if you can get on you can print it out at the library. I don't know, but I'm trying to say you don't have to pay a dime for any of these books. I don't do this for the money. I'm not taking 1 cent with me when I leave this earth, and I don't want my reward here on this planet. I want my reward up there, not down here. Nothing down here lasts forever. Everything from up there is for eternity. Let's get back to where he was. Okay. John 16. This is also where, I think we will cover that here in just a minute. But anyway, John 16, verse 13. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that he shall speak, and he will show you things to come. I'm shown all things to come. Just like the flood and everything, nothing takes me by surprise. Well, I can't say that exactly, because like tonight as I'm driving, that kind of took me by surprise when the Father is kind of like, this is what I'm talking about, not the debt ceiling. I'm like, okay, that kind of took me by surprise, and I'm like, and I should have, with everything, all the knowledge I have of the Bible, yeah, I should have probably recognized that myself, but I didn't. Okay, but I'm showing all things to come. We're going back to this dream, and this is talked about in other spots in the Bible too. And like I said, yesterday or the other day when I put this together, I just kind of slapped in a few verses to kind of show you where I was talking about. Because I meditate on the scriptures all the time, but I also at the same time didn't want to show you everything that I'm talking about. It's part of this whole idea is to get you to search the scriptures as I do, you to meditate on the scriptures as I do. All right, so now we're going to 1 Thessalonians 5. This is what I was talking about. This, on May 31st, the Bible verse of the day was 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, talking about how we'll be caught up with him in the clouds. I just showed you the website. There's how you'll be caught up with me in the clouds. And this is what I'm also talking about there's a chapter in this next book about renewing your mind and whatnot. Okay, well, that's not the name of the chapter. Okay, but I've renewed my mind. Everything I have is blue and white. When you see in blue and white, what do you think of? You think of the heavens. When you look into the heavens, what do you see? It's blue and white. Everything about me is blue and white. And I explained how the Father did this with me over these last year and a half ago, when he started doing it, and he's done it now. And I explain this in the next book, in the 6th book. Okay. So anyway, we're going back to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Well, probably half of you probably watching this anyway. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Okay. May 5th, they said peace and safety with the COVID-19. No longer a global emergency. In fact, I don't even think you hear about anything about it on the news anymore. I think the last thing I heard, they was saying there might be 1,000 people dying a day globally, and that was beginning of May. It's probably less than that now. But they said peace and safety. Then comes sudden destruction. So I've been waiting for this destruction, because I know the next destruction, this destruction that's coming, is the next contraction. This next contraction is where the Father reveals me. Then I get to start teaching. I get to start glorifying the Father. That's talked about in John 17, where the hour shall come, or the hour is that glorify thy Son, so thy Son can glorify you, the Father. That's what I'm waiting for. I want to be able to glorify the Father. Right now I'm making these videos. Nobody's watching them. You know, I've had this channel for 12 years, and I've got 37 subscribers. I've got very few views. Yeah, I had some other videos years ago, but I took them down, which took me a while to understand why I did that, but that was when I was really exercising. I was a little more buffed, and I wore muscle shirts and whatnot, and that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. I'm not here to bring on an appeal to anyone. I'm here to deliver a message to those that truly want to be with our Father and want His instructions. That's why I'm here. Okay? So anyway, now we're gonna... What are we doing here? Oh, that's right. I wanted to back up here to John 16. What was I going to... Oh, right here. John 16:21. A woman, when she is in travail, have sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. This is the revealing of me right here. And this explains why I've been having all this turmoil, this hard times, my temper tantrums, and whatnot, because this is just like a woman's having, just like when a woman's getting ready to have a child, the last push or two is the hardest. And that's what I've been going through. This is hurting me the most because I'm getting so exhausted of being rejected. I'm getting so exhausted of talking to my computer. My computer's not making any sense of what I'm saying. I'm getting tired of talking to my windshield. My windshield's not making any sense of what I'm saying. And I'll go ahead and say it. The people that I do talk to on the phone on a daily basis or almost daily basis, which is my daughter, her mother, and because that's where I have anything that I order, I have it shipped there, and so forth. So we have... and I keep in contact with my grandkids / my parents, my mom and dad, reincarnated, and so forth. But they blow off what I say. So it's like, but then, and the Father was bringing this to my attention earlier tonight. In the first book, and this is the section I'm getting ready to work on in the 6th book, because in the first book, he had me say, because actually, you can't be a disciple of Jesus if you don't hate your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your son-in-law, your daughter-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, whatever, all this, and even your own life. Oh, I've got that down really well. I've got that down to a T. Because it's almost daily. I ask the Father, just take me, get me out of here. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. It's gotten to that point. It's almost daily I ask Him to just take me. So I got that down to a T. But that's what I'm getting put in here. But then in the first book, the Father was bringing this to my attention tonight. He was like, David, you put that in the first book. I want you to explain this again in the 6th book. Because you feel it. Yes, I do. I love my daughter. I love my grandbabies. I love everybody. But I hate, with a pure hate, it's in Psalms, I hate everybody because everybody ignores the love that I want to give. the love that I want to teach, the love that I want to share, that all comes from our Father. That's what I hate. That's what I hate. And he had me say that in the first book. And that's my negligence. Because I write one book, I write another book, I write another book, and I pretty well stop thinking about what I put in the first book. I think about what I put in the next book, then I think about what I put in the next book. Well, I've written 5 books, so there's a lot of other stuff that I think about other than what I think about and what I put in the first book. But yeah, I still know, and he brought it to my attention tonight. David, you put this in the first book. Why are you so miserable? Remember what I had you put in the first book. You hate your daughter. You hate your sisters or whatever. Why? Because they won't let you share your knowledge of me with them. And that is the exact spot I'm working on in the 6th book, in the chapter being led out of Egypt. See, he had me write about this years ago, what I'd be going through. That's what all these books are about. So anyway, I kind of got off. I know I got way off track. What a surprise for me, right? So anyway, let's see here. Back over here. Now, this sudden destruction that we was just talking about that's getting ready to happen. I'm not setting no dates or anything like that, but he brought it to my attention what's going to happen. He won't tell me. I think he did it just to bring my mind at a little bit of an ease, because I've been going through some really agonizing pains. But then comes this sudden destruction. Now, I've been looking for this sudden destruction ever since I had this dream, ever since the World Health Organization said that when they say peace and safety, then comes sudden destruction. Since they announced that it was no longer a global emergency, I knew and know that was them saying peace and safety. The war against the invisible enemy is at rest, at peace, and safety. No longer to worry about it. Remember, this is all spiritual. Now, some of you, if you're still watching this, are already probably thinking about, well, it can't happen because the son of perdition hasn't been revealed. Yes, the son of perdition is revealed. I started revealing the son of perdition in the 3rd book, the chapter called Where is Satan Locked Up? In the 4th book, called The Son of Perdition, in quotation marks, revealed. Man is Satan. Man is the son of perdition. But there's so many people around here that pray to this false God that changed our perfect Father, thinking our perfect Father is going to allow you to reap all the glories of his perfect house, even though you don't want anything to do with his perfection. Man is the son of perdition. He is revealed. He has been revealed for a long time. So anyway, but that's not, this next contraction is not the end of the world. You gotta watch what I'm saying there. Sorry. Excuse me. Oh, man. Now, the last thing I wanted to cover. John 8, verse 24. I said therefore unto you, that ye shall die in your sins. For if ye believe not that I am he, ye shall die in your sins. And that's exactly what I'm saying to you right now. This is actually a chapter in the 5th book, the last chapter in the book, believing I am he. You don't believe I am he, you're not even hearing me say this right now. You haven't watched this video this long. If you do not believe I am he, you will not watch any of the other videos, which are very educational. You will not read any of the books. You will not obtain an understanding of the Father. You will not understand what he's doing, why he's doing what he's doing. You will die in your sins if you do not believe I am he. I'm saying it to you right now. I am the Son of Man. I am Jesus Christ. I am the one that gives you all an understanding of our Father. Believe it or not, like it or not, love it or not. But if you don't read these books, I'm sorry for what you got coming your way. If you made it this far, share this video. Oh my gosh. Wow. I almost forgot to tell you all what the next contraction is. Oh my gosh. That's kind of funny. Oh. Wow. All right. The next contraction. I'm not setting the date, but it's going to make the debt. If they wouldn't have raised the debt ceiling, that's powder puff. Okay, let me just put it that way. The next contraction. Nukes are going to start flying. Now, I don't know how many. I don't know how devastating it's going to be. But when they start flying, this will be global. Bank accounts will be drained. By you. Not by anyone else. Well, I mean, people are going to panic. They're going to panic because they're going to know what's coming down. The nukes are getting ready to start flying. People will start panicking. The store shelves will be empty. They'll start taking their money out of the bank. Why are they going to do this? Because they're finally going to understand the world is coming to an end. Yeah, I got so caught up in this debt ceiling stuff that I stopped paying attention to the wars. I guess the United States is really starting to provoke China. Ukraine's starting to do some things that are getting ready to set Putin to the push the button mode. Iran and Israel. There are wars and rumors of wars everywhere. But I think, he told me tonight, nukes are going to start flying. I don't know how many. I don't know exactly where. But what are you going to do when you get that alert on your phone? Take shelter immediately. Inbound nuclear missile. Global catastrophe. And it'll be worse than this world's ever experienced before. Because that will be the fatal crash. Because the markets will dump. You'll lose more jobs than you would if they didn't raise the debt ceiling. I'm guessing the markets will dump. Probably, my guess, I'm not making a prediction, but I'm guessing probably 50% within the first 48, 72 hours. 50, 60, 70% probably. Millions upon millions of jobs will be lost globally. Because these will be global stocks that'll dump too. I don't know what that was. Anyway, that's what's getting ready to happen. It's going to be very painful. It's going to hurt and it's going to suck. So hang on. Get these books. They don't cost you a dime. They don't cost you a dime. Start to get an understanding of the Father. Don't get an understanding of me. I'm no different than you are. You're no different than I am. We're just average people. I was chosen by the Father. I can't help that. Get these books. Get an understanding of our Father. Get an understanding of who He is, what He's doing, and why He's doing what He's doing. Just turn back to the Father. That's all he wants. All right, man. I've made this long enough. I'm out.